What's up everyone, Jeff with PolarPro, and we have another tutorial adventure for you today, how to scout for long exposure locations. We have a 500-mile route planned through Oregon that should take us through some epic coastlines, waterfalls, and rivers. And I'm here with Matt. Say hi and tell them what you do at PolarPro.
What's up everyone, my name's Matt. I am the creative director here at PolarPro, and I'm excited to be here the Oregon coast to give you guys some tips on long exposure photography.
So Matt's very talented at visualizing composition, so he'll be out here today kind of showing you what we look for compelling long exposure images. So let's go see if we can find anything down here. All right, so essentially what we're looking for compelling long exposure photos is the relationship between moving and static subjects within a frame. So Matt, what do you like about this scene and kind of what's the frame gonna be?
All right, so behind us, we have a really dynamic shot here. We have this hole in the tide pools where the ocean is coming in and out. It's gonna be a great subject, lots of motion. So let's get started, let's get the shot.
Sweet. While Matt's getting all set up here, I'm gonna show you how shutter speed is going to affect your photos. So I'm gonna snap the first one at 1/800th of a second. And you can see that at 1/800th, it pretty much freezes all motion in the frame. It looks pretty cool, but nothing super compelling or interesting. So to get our shutter at 1/60th, we're gonna actually have to close down aperture a little bit, because if you just change shutter speed and fire at 1/60th, it's gonna be super overexposed and just look like this. So when you close down aperture, you're gonna reduce the amount of light coming in, but I did have to change it to f/22. So that's a very, very narrow aperture and everything's pretty much gonna be in focus. So this is what that looks like. So you can see at 1/60th, some of the water moving around is starting to get a little bit blurred and look kind of interesting. But let's see what happens when we push shutter speed to 2 seconds. So if I change my shutter speed to 2 seconds without changing any other settings, the image is gonna be very overexposed. And since my aperture is already maxed out at 22, I can't reduce light that way. My ISO is already at the lowest limit, so I can't reduce light that way. The only other way I can reduce light to get that long exposure is with an ND filter. So I'm gonna put on an ND filter and take this 2-second photo. So you can see at 2 seconds, you're actually starting to get a lot of blur motion around the movement, starting to look really cool. And you can even push this shutter speed longer. It's just the longer your shutter speed is, the heavier of an ND filter that you're gonna need to balance out exposure. So Matt should be set up about now. Let's see if he's ready to go. You ready, Matt?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, what shutter speed you running?
All right, so we're sitting at a 6-second shutter speed right now, and I'm using an ND 1000, so a 10-stop filter.
Oh, nice. That's a solid one, Matt. Cool. Let's go see if we can find another location.
All right, so we have arrived at our next location here. Found this spot deep in the forest. We got a nice creek running down from this waterfall up here. This looks like it'll be a great spot for some long exposure photos. So I'm gonna be using an ND64 filter here. I'm gonna try out a 6-second shutter. I don't want the water to be too ghosted out. I want it to be nice and blurred, but not too much, so it keeps that detail. So yeah, I'm gonna get set up and we'll see how these turn out.
So if you're having trouble calculating shutter speeds, we actually built an app that's gonna help you out. All you have to do is put in your current shutter speed without a filter on it, and then select which filter you'd like to use. And then it's gonna show you the shutter speed you need with the filter installed for a perfect exposure. How are we looking over here, Matt?
Settings look good. 6 seconds looks to be just about right with this lighting and the ND64 filter, but I'm not really liking the framing of this. I think we're gonna go get closer to this waterfall over here.
that looks really good. We gotta frame that one for the office. We got 250 miles left, so let's hit the road and go find our next location. So what do we got here, Matt?
So we've just stumbled upon this huge waterfall here. This thing has a ton of motion, way more motion than any of the scenes we've shot today. So this should turn out really sick. I'm gonna be using an ND64 here, and I'm gonna try to get this done pretty quick because we're getting soaked. So let's get this shot.
Oh, dang, dude, you're on fire today. Think we can find one more?
Yeah, man, let's get packed up and get out of here.
Let's do it. All right, what do you think about this spot, Matt?
All right, this spot looks really good. The lighting is perfect. Sun's just about to set. Got a lot of nice motion with the water down there on this cliff face. So yeah, I'm gonna go get set up.
All right, cool. So you might have noticed we've been shooting with our quartz line filters all day. We pretty much developed these because we wanted something that matched the quality of our lenses and didn't color cast at all. We also wanted to combine some of our drone technology where we combine neutral density and polarizer filters into a single element lens. And basically that just is gonna reduce vignetting and then also eliminates having to double stack filters, which can cause some bad flaring or ghosting. So let's go see if he's ready. All right, you all set, Matt?
Yeah, looks like I'm all set up. I'm running an F16, have our ND64 filter on here. And I'm gonna be shooting this at a 38-second exposure right now. The water down there isn't moving too fast, so this should give us a good amount of blur that isn't too hazy over that 38-second period. So we'll see how this looks.
Oh, wow, solid one, Matt. That's what we like to end the day on. So it's been a long day. We covered a ton of ground, but we saw a lot of really cool spots. And hopefully you learned a thing or two about, what we look for in a long exposure scene. If you're not already subscribed, be sure to hit that subscribe button because we've got a lot of adventures and new products coming up soon. And we will see you on the next one.